Okay, we're live. We are live. Let's go back here. Make sure the audio. Yep. Okay. We're good. How's everyone doing today? Yeah, let's see what we got. Airplane. This should be playing. What's wrong with the window capture now? Oh boy, there's always something. Window capture. Add source. Whoops. Get rid of that. So how's everyone doing this Sunday? Hopefully everyone's doing fine. So I will begin talking about my first time going to the traditional Latin Mass. There. If you guys want to watch this. I don't know if you do. Whoops. Whoops. Doing? Oh my goodness, this is not working out very well. Okay. So this should work here. Okay, we'll have that play sort of while I talk. This is a low mass at St. John Cantius. I did not go there. Uh, it wasn't this beautiful, um, but I did go to the Latin Mass for the first time. In case you don't know, I just joined the church. I was just baptized and confirmed this last Easter Vigil. Received First Holy Communion. It's quite beautiful. Um, and so I've always been around the Novus Ordo. Whenever on my conversion journey, or whatever you want to call it, I was introduced right away into the church politics of Vatican II. Um, you know, I get it. I've defended it. I myself am a traditionalist. The problem with the Latin Mass today is simply that it's too far away. It's inaccessible. Whoops, what's going on? It's inaccessible. So, the stream, it never works. The internet sucks, so I'm sorry. Wow, okay. We are going to have to we're just going to have to show. There we go. This is just a generic picture because, I don't know, of course something's always wrong with my streams. Okay. So, whatever. Okay, so the nearest Latin Mass to me is an hour away, so I had to wake up pretty early. Um, 4 masses. Oh, they were gonna have a sung mass today. Maybe I should have went to that one instead. Well, okay. So anyway, I went to a Latin Mass. It was FSSP, Priestly Fraternity of St. Peter. And I guess I'll just sort of tell you what happened. There were some problems with the drive. Of course, there was problems with the drive. an hour away, you know, that's a big problem, and lately it's been a little bit of a problem for me due to sort of some stomach issues. So if I get car sick, I get a little bit worried, and so I decided last night I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna go, and the reason why is because at my parish, the Novus Ordo parish, I got a little bit upset because now they have an altar girl, and the more I keep observing things, irreverence does seep in. They have a hand sanitizer bottle up front. Sometimes it's on the altar, sometimes it's on the table that holds up the tabernacle, if you sort of know what I mean. Um, there's always, there's just a lot of irreverence, and there's just some of my criticisms. There is definitely a sense. How can I explain this? I would say overall, the Novus Ordo at my parish, very well, it's pretty reverent. Um, the best parts are, of course, the Latin parts. Kyrie, well, that's in Greek. Um, sometimes they do the Agnus Dei. Uh, but when I saw that altar girl, just a little girl, and that's when I was a little bit taken aback, taken, and I was I was sort of upset. I even asked the priest. I said, "Why do we have an altar girl now?" His response was, "Well, it's allowed." And then I just said very quickly. I just said very quickly, you know that there's quotes from popes, saying that women shouldn't even approach the altar. Even if it's allowed, I said I stick with the popes who have said, and he asked me to get him those quotes, so I'm probably gonna, maybe I'll get some different quotes and documents or whatnot, and print them out and show them, because even after Vatican II, basically the way I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, the only reason why there was the early reform, and then John Paul II shot that down, said no, 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 no women altar servers act. And so I guess when they were sort of ending it, the reforms and everything, the words were altar server. So then that was a debate. People began to introduce altar girls or whatever, because it didn't say altar boys or altar males or male altar servers. It just said altar server. So very quickly, people took advantage of it, because the idea of an altar server now changed from being a step to the priesthood, to now just some yay fun thing that anyone can do, which is quite bizarre. And even Pope Francis has changed, allowing baptized people be lectors or whatever in a church, in our parishes. Well, what does that do? That allows Protestant with the traditionalists. Most times I'm not a sedevacanist or anything like that. So I I decided to go after sort of the altar girl thing, and I was pretty mad. Well, I shouldn't say mad. I was definitely upset by it. And the first time she served, or the first time I saw her serve, like a 9 or 10-year-old girl or whatever, maybe not even, maybe like 8. I went actually to like the chief altar server, and I said to him, how can I become an altar server? Because I think the reason why they did that was because another altar server, a guy. There was always male altar servers as long as I've been there, which, again, I'm a neophyte, so that wasn't very long. And, so he wasn't, one of them wasn't serving that Sunday, and so I think it sort of got, introduced the idea of, well, okay, let's have some kids do it, which is great as long as they're male. I mean, this isn't complicated. So, that's sort of the last couple of weeks. Hand sanitizer before distributing Holy Communion, the Blessed Sacrament. I just sort of, I don't know. I was sort of getting more and more worried that the reverends, I don't know if it's because it's an ordinary time and maybe they're, honestly, maybe this, like, strange draw to go to the Latin Mass. And I've said this to people before. The Latin Mass is what brought me into the church. There's no doubt about that. Because of the beauty, because of the architecture, the theology, or whatever. I just never experienced it. I never went to one, except for, besides today for the first time. And so with this sort of, I don't know, sort of issue going on in my parish, and it's not an issue because, people don't really care. I have been getting better, and so I decided that I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go. I actually went Saturday evening because, and I don't know how I feel like this either, but they say Saturday evening does fulfill, your weekly obligation, Sunday obligation. So I thought, okay, I'm going to sort of take advantage of that. I'm going to go, and so for whatever reason, if I don't make it down, because it'd be too late to come back to go to my local parish, if somehow I don't make it down, I get sick or whatever, I get a flat tire or whatever, at least I did go this weekend. And I'll probably go tomorrow at the Novus Ordo. So I decided to go. Woke up this morning pretty early. In fact, I'm pretty tired. I'll probably take a nap after this. Because I haven't had a whole lot of sleep in the last couple of days. And so I drove down there. There was a couple times I was starting to get car sick, but I was pretty fine. It was a very peaceful drive down there. Because again, it wasn't super early in the morning. It was like 8 o'clock. And it Okay, sorry about that. Okay. So, but I kept going down, very peaceful. It was a bit rainy, but there's this strange beauty in the early morning fog, even in the rain, which of course makes it harder to get up and everything. So I go down, and this is pretty much in the middle of a city and a downtown part of a city, and I was like, okay, I had a GPS because I knew what was going to happen. I knew how to get there. The problem was I felt as though I was going to make a wrong turn or miss a turn. So I sort of had to not turn around, but had to go through. The thing what I hate about cities and even like large towns is the one-way streets. They're so annoying because you have no idea. You'll go for like 5 blocks and then finally you can go. Well but then you have to go another 3 blocks in this direction and then you come down and it's like, oh, it's very annoying one-way street. So I get a little bit anxiety. I live in a pretty rural area. And so I just I don't really like going down to busy areas. I mean, I have, and I know I will, and I did today. So I got a parking spot I don't even know, and I parked horribly. I parked absolutely horribly. I came out of Mass, and I saw that I was totally crooked in the parking spot. Oh my. You guys are probably feeling a little bit of, hearing a little bit how tired I am, because it was truly, it was a little bit tiresome, you know. But now let's get to the actual Mass part itself. So I get there pretty early. I get in a parking spot. And, I thought about going to confession to make a general confession. Uh, not, like no mortal sin. So, I'm able to receive communion. And I did receive communion. And I'll talk about that then. But I went in. Well, there was actually a very early 7:30 AMS before, the one I was going to. And I stepped in, and you have to remember, even in like cathedrals and stuff, there's not a lot of room in the narthex or in the vestibule, whatever, it's called. Usually it's called the vestibule. And so I go in, it's just this little area. And I'm sort of looking for, it's this little area. There's some people there with their kids or whatever. And I look in through the windows, and I see, and the place was full. The place was packed. And I was sort of wondering, where did these people park? I just sort of parked, along the street. I was able to find a parking spot. But I'm like, where the heck did all these people park? And I was sort of looking around, because they had confessions before each mass. So I was looking around for a confession booth. I didn't see any. So I'm like, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing here. So I just sort of looked around, and people came in and out, and it had a pretty distinct smell, a lot of old people. So I look in, and people were dressed up. So I'm glad that I dressed up, in a suit and tie and everything, because that's usually the norm, and so I'm glad I did. And but it was packed. So I was watching through the window, and I was already amazed. And everything, seeing the vestments